Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition, our first Panharmonicon Dynasty edition of Budget Magic, and this week we are heading to Standard to play some Enchantments, green-white Weaver of Harmony enchantments, and this deck is not only really cheap, but it's really sweet. So let's talk about our green-white Weaver of Harmony enchantment deck, jump into some games, see it in action. All right, so here is our green-white enchantments deck for Standard. As you can see, 50-ish bucks in paper, so ultra budget in paper. Magic Arena, 15 total rares and mythics, including the mana base, which is like half of the rares and mythics. So if you already have the mana base, this is like 8 rares and mythics to build this deck on Arena, and the deck is like legitimately scary and awesome and good. So we're built around one of my favorite cards from Panharmonicon Dynasty, which is a Weaver of Harmony. Weaver of Harmony, essentially a once per turn in 1 mana version of Panharmonicon for enchantments. Enchantmonicon, let's say, letting us copy the activated and triggered abilities of our enchantments, also pumps our enchantment creatures, which is somewhat relevant. And this card is really important to the deck. So I've been building around this deck for a while, trying to figure out how to make this archetype work on a budget. And the thing that I ran into playing this deck is I really wanted an Enchantress. I wanted a Sethis or an Enchantress's Presence, some sort of thing that we can put on the battlefield that just draws us cards as we play enchantments. It's something we're missing in Standard. We don't have a traditional Enchantress. Weaver of Harmony is essentially our Enchantress, with the idea being we can play this early in the game, and then we can play enchantments with ETB draw card effects like Spirited Companion, Runa Sustenance, Runamite, and for 1 mana just copy their ETB to keep drawing through our deck and keep our hand full. So Weaver of Harmony, in a really weird roundabout way with its Panharmonicon-esque ability, is essentially our Enchantress. That's how I think of it in the early game. As far as the rest of these cards, Spirited Companion, best dog ever printed. Runa Sustenance, Runamite, actually really good in our deck, because our plan for winning the game is to grow a huge creature or two. Generous Visitor, Cami of Transients are our 2 main payoffs. They just get big as we cast enchantments, and giving them either lifelink with Runa Sustenance or trample with Runamite for Generous Visitor in specific, because Cami of Transients already has trample, is really, really powerful, letting us swing the race against aggro or win through blockers. So that's kind of the plan of the deck. Play these early, start slinging enchantments, play our Enchantmonicon to double up our card draw triggers, and then when it comes time to kill our opponent, our big payoff is Machiko's Reign of Truth, which is kind of absurd. I know I'm not high on the sagas from Kamigawa in general, but this one is so good in an enchantment deck. Its first 2 lore counters, essentially all that glitter, just give a creature +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and enchantment we control. With all of our runes and enchantment creatures, this is often +4/+4, +8/8, some really big number, and then eventually it flips around to a creature that's essentially a 0/0 that has all the glitters on it, which is also pretty strong. So the way we kill our opponent most commonly is make a huge trampling creature, and then Machiko's Reign of Truth to make it even huger, maybe double Machiko's Reign of Truth with the help of our Enchantmonicon. If we're giving double all the glitters, it's even more absurd. It's easy to get a Cami of Transients like up over 20 power and just one-shot people once we get going. Your Generous Visitor, if we happen to have a rune on it, and that's how we actually win the game. So as far as the rest of the deck, Juki Naturalist, really good ramp, and also kind of a reasonable creature as a 2-mana 2/2 lifelink. Commune with Spirits lets us trim back on lands a little bit, digs for lands or enchantments. Snakeskin Veil Sajiri Shelter just to protect our big threats. One of the weaknesses of our deck is if our opponent's just overloaded on removal, they can just keep killing our Camis, they can keep killing our Generous Visitor, and then we're left playing kind of just small things and drawing a bunch of cards, but not really being able to kill our opponent. So having a bunch of protection, really important to making the deck work. Mana base, actually really good for a budget deck. We managed to have 7 rare dual lands, 1 Blossoming Sands, so not quite a tier mana base because we don't have like channel lands or any rare mythic MDFCs, but really a pretty functional mana base for a budget deck, coming in under 15 rares. Sideboard, bunch more protection, bunch more removal. Things of Shigeki, kind of a removal spell as a 1-mana 1/1 Death Toucher, really good against like mono green, hard for them to get through, and that is green-white Enchantmonicon, Weaver of Harmony enchantments. That's our budget magic deck for this week. So let's jump into some games and see, is Weaver of Harmony good enough to live up to its Panharmonicon name? How good is this weird enchantment deck in Standard? Can it work on a super low budget, 50 bucks, 15 rares or mythics? So let's find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope y'all enjoy it. and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. Need some new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty cards? Well, you can get them from our amazing sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTG and even get a free goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Budget magic time. We are playing some green-white enchantments in standard, and I think we can keep this because we have Commune with the Spirits, essentially. It is one land, but Commune goes 4 cards deep to find another one. So, I mean, we'd still just like to draw one, but worst case, we should hit our land drops, and then I guess we try to load up this Cami. Plains for our opponent, Lunarch Veteran. Well, all right. Commune with the Spirits, take a forest. I mean, snap, take the land. Play the land, pass the turn. About it. Plains, Voice of the Blessed. Sure. Well, we'd love to draw land so we can Cami and protect it. Yeah, that helps. All right, so Cami of Transience. That's big. That lets us leave up Snakeskin Veil in case our opponent actually has removal. All right, so opponent's just going to Spellbinder. The bad news here is this is going to start taxing our borrowed time. And we want the borrowed time to get rid of this Voice of the Blessed, which is getting big. Yeah, it takes the borrowed time. All right, well, we will see. So opponent grows the Voice of the Blessed, gets in, hits us. Yeah, down to 15. This is going to be interesting. Weaver of Harmony, well, Rune of Sustenance on the Cami. Land on white. I'm so concerned about removal, but I'm also a little concerned about dying. Like, Weaver of Harmony would be great, but then if our opponent just elite Spellbinders, we're so out of luck. If we wait, how bad is it? We're taking 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe more. I mean, I think we gotta pass. The good news is we're gonna be able to gain back a bunch of life. As long as we keep the Cami around, like Makoko's Reign of Truth. More spellbinding. All right. So the plan of playing this slowly might have been not the best. Yeah. Okay. So our stuff's getting super expensive. Opponent goes to Dorks, goes attacking. Well, I guess maybe we should have ran. I don't know. The first Brutal Kuthar Skyclave seems more likely than the second Spellbinder. But now we're in a whole mess of trouble. Like, I think we're dead. Spirited Companion, draw a card. Like, we're just dying to the Dorks. Well, Reign of Truth. Still not sure this even saves us. So we attack for 8 and gain 8 and go to 15. I mean, we're fully shields down. We didn't draw land. So we go back up to 15 temporarily. Let's see if they also had the Skyclave. Land. Clerical Life Spot. Gains life, grows the Dorks. Big attack. Oh, down to 3. Well, I mean, grow Cami. Oh, we can't even cast our removal spell. So this thing's definitely going to kill us. Does not have Sneaky Reach, unfortunately. So do we have any options here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, I mean, I guess it's just Reign of Truth again. Like, I think this is all we got. And grow it as much as we can and go attacking. Opponent goes to 3. Like, oh, we're gaining so much life, but our opponent's stuff is so big about it. 6, 12. Luminarch Aspirant. Do we survive this turn? I mean, if we survive this turn, I think we still have a shot. I'm not sure we do, though. Grows it. That actually gives our opponent Xaxes, which is insane. Wow. Oh. If our opponent didn't have Luminarch Aspirant +1/+, if this was Alchemy, we would have won. If this was Alchemy and the counter came at the end of turn, we would have won that game. All right, so we'll bring in some more cheap removal. I still think that was, I don't know. I still think it was right to try to protect our Cami just because we had nothing else going. Although it definitely ended up working out horribly since our opponent had another Spellbinder, but Enchantments. Come on. Our opponent had a really strong draw, and that was still like super close. Our opponent still needed like the top deck to be able to win that game, or they needed the right card. I don't know if it was a top deck, but All that to say, our opponent had a really good draw, and we were still super close to actually just winning that game. Well, play the Cami, opponent plays the Plains. Luminarch Aspirant. Gonna grow the Dorks. Gets in. New blocks. Play this on white. Play Naturalist. Grow the Cami. Weaver of Harmony. Grow the Cami. Hope that our opponent does not have removal. Hit you for 4. Not a bad turn 3. And then next turn we might be able to double borrow time with a with Enchantments. That would be nice. All right, opponent goes to 17. Well, all right. Pray for no disruption. Okay, Traveling Minister. I think that's acceptable. And 2 of them. Definitely acceptable. Opponent. Okay, now I kind of like where we're at. Was not expecting double Traveling Minister. Passes. Ooh, and a Snakeskin Veil. Well, now I kind of think we just wait one more turn. Or actually, we can just... I mean, do we just do it? I think we... Okay, on second thought, this is too much value to pass up. Borrow time. Get the Veteran. Weaver of Harmony. Do some Panharmoniconing. On the borrow time trigger, get the Aspirant. Kill them both. And hit you for a lot. So now our opponent, I think... needs removal. Like they're just getting wrecked. Opponent untaps. The Traveling Ministers. Not enough. Well, can we do it on the draw? Run it back on the draw. Weaver Harmony is such a sweet card. It's such a sweet card. And being 2 mana, it might be one of those Panharmonicons like Harmonic Prodigy that might actually be playable. The 2 mana Panharmonicon effect, sure, you gotta pay mana for this one, but it's less restricted. It's not tribally restricted like Harmonic Prodigy, but you gotta pay mana. You can only use it once a turn, but still, doubling up the abilities, I don't know. I'm coming around. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, janky combo piece, fun value card. But now I'm starting to think maybe Weaver of Harmony is just like kind of good. Maybe it's just an actual good Magic the Gathering card that happens to kind of be a Panharmonicon. All right, on the draw against Clerics, Enchantmonicon. I like this hand. All right, we're going to keep this. Double Generous Visitor. Generous Visitor is another card that is actually way scarier than it looks. This hand can potentially deal a lot of damage. If Weaver of Harmony can double Machiko's Reign of Truth, whew, opponent, land, and passes. Well, land on green. Generous Visitor. Go. Go attacking. I think our opponent has removal, but they aren't sure that they actually want to kill a Generous Visitor with it. All right, Generous Visitor plays. Go. So this sets us up to Naturalist plus Weaver next turn, and then maybe go off if we don't get hit by a Spellbinder the following turn. Opponent, land, end. All right, Skyclave, sure. Well, I'd rather our opponent get that out of their hand now. So we get to play this on green. Naturalist. Grow the Visitor. Weaver of Harmony. Grow the Visitor. Go attacking. The only bad news is, out of the things we have on the battlefield, if our opponent does have removal, Weaver of Harmony is definitely what they're going to kill. You got to kill the Panharmonicon. Panharmonicon's super good with this hand, too. Opponent, Lunarch Veteran. Come on, no Skyclave. Number 2. None of those shenanigans. Oh, I just want to double some triggers. All right, Soul Transfer. So opponent does have removal. Boo. Well, let's play Cami. And Rune of Might on the Visitor. Get some triggers. Draw a card. And hit ya. Okay, well, we lost our Panharmonicon, but I think we still might be in okay shape. I wish we had more white mana. Good old Pathways. About it. I don't know about, like, Soul Transfer is a powerful card, but I'm not sure about sorcery speed removal in a format with vehicles and whatnot. Would be nice to draw an answer to this Voice of the Blessed at some point. Our opponent kills the Cami. Well, okay, I guess we do it again. Cami. 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Rune of Sustenance. Get some triggers. Grow the Visitor. Draw a white source. No. I mean, a green rune is okay, because that means we can actually cast it next turn. Wow! All right. Opponent really wants to kill the Generous Visitor, I guess. I mean, I think we're okay with it. Unless our opponent has a Wrath or something, that's kind of fine. Okay. Runs out their dorks. Rune of Might, the Naturalist. Grow the Kami. More green mana. Spirited Companion. Grow the Kami. I'll hit you with the Kami. So many green sources. Opponent down to 7. Oh, just a land. I think that does it. With this Machiko's Reign of Truth in hand, I think that's gonna do it. So Machiko's Reign of Truth. Grow the Kami. Grow the Naturalist, and we're just gonna swing with the crew. This does have lifelink, so opponent's gonna go to 9, but we still have 13 trampling damage. Opponent's counting it up. Blocks, and dies. Oh, all right. Well, our Panharmonicon didn't live, but we won. That is good news. Sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some green-white enchantments in standard, and that looks reasonable. We got a nice curve. We got some good threats. Well, land and generous visitor. Go. Wow, that is an aggressive Fading Hope. Scries to the top. Plays an island for tails. Well, land on white, and let's play Kami. Kami. Pass the turn. Island for opponent. I'll play the land. We gotta expect a counter. There's gotta be a counter. Generous visitor. Do we even attack? Oh, what flash creatures exist? Is there anything we should be worried about? 3 mana, Spectral Ad. You know what? We're just gonna pass. We're just gonna wait. If our opponent's playing mono blue, Spectral Adversary is like, okay, Dragon Turtle. Spectral Adversary is a legitimate threat. Opponent, tap land. Passes. Well, play the land on white. Play Naturalist. Get a few triggers. Grow. Opponent's going to counter, sure. Spirited Companion. Get a few triggers. I mean, I assume our opponent's trying to steal our stuff, so we're going to spread the counters evenly, even though a lot of times we'd rather go all in on one creature, but opponent, island. But I think this deck plays like Mind Flayer and other theft effects. All right, Imreth, that's fine. Makoko's Reign of Truth. Grows itself. Pump. And then Naturalist. I guess we should have done that in slightly the opposite order. Grow. Attack with everything but the dog. Opponent scoops it up. Oh, that was good. Wow. I mean, this deck can be really explosive. Really explosive. All right, Snakes can Veil in. What's bad against this deck? I guess Choose Your Weaponry is actually kind of cute too, now that we see these big flyers like Imreth. And doubling our power can one-shot. What are we cutting? Maybe 1 Rune of Sustenance and 1 Commune? I mean, maybe that's excessive to bring in another Snakeskin Veil. I'm just worried about them. Like, what I'm worried about, because we played a deck that was mono blue on stream a while ago, and it was basically a theft deck. Like, it was all about just stealing your opponent's creature. So what I'm worried about is we're going to grow this like huge threat, and then our opponent's just going to yoink it. But we do have the shelters, and we also have some Snakeskin Veil, so we're probably fine. And that was a very impressive draw. That shows what our deck can do when it gets going. Ooh, all right. I mean, I like this hand. Yeah, let's just Generous Visitor. Go. Island. Well, Generous Visitor. If our opponent would like to counter, that's acceptable. They do not. Well, Blossoming Sands, get a little cheaty land action. Gotta give that 1 life. We're winning. Officially winning, 21-20. Game over, call it. Opponent plays a land. Well, play the tap land. So what are we okay with getting countered? We gotta assume something's getting countered. Let's just play Naturalist. Grow the dorks. I think we grow the same dork in case our opponent... All right, they're gonna dissipate. Growing the same dork lets us get through Spectral Adversary. I'll hit you for 4. It is pretty nice of these trigger on cast rather than the enchantment entering the battlefield. Opponent plays a land and passes. Well, we will play a land. Cammy Whammy of Transience. Opponent. Let's go. Spirited Companion. You can't counter the dog. That's against the rules. I'll grow Generous Visitor and Generous Visitor. And opponent's done. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, well, I mean, that was a pretty good example of what the deck can do when the matchup calls for it. Like, when we aren't getting our stuff constantly killed, if we just get to stick these things on the battlefield, they go off really, even this Generous Visitor, this 1 mana 1/1, ends up being huge really quickly. And then we're drawing cards, and then we're drawing cards, and then we're exiling stuff. That is, I mean, that is the upside of the Enchantress deck, I think. So, well, sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some Weaver of Harmony Enchantments, green-white enchantments in standard, and, well, we'll keep this. Seems reasonable. Lands and spells. All right, Lunarch Veterans. Opponent, some sort of life gain deck. Well, land on white. Go. Opponent. Ooh, all right. Green-white plays a Thalia. Sure. Well, play a land. Weaver of Harmony. Go. I mean, the Thalia does slow down some of our stuff. Opponent plays a land. Skyclave Apparition, of course. Hits our Weaver of Harmony. Goes attacking. Well, this might have been a bad game for losing the die roll. All right, land on white, go. So now this Thalia is kind of taxing us here, and our opponent's kind of beating down. Yeah, it's kind of brutal. Opponent, land, goes attacking, no blocks. Down to 12. And Voice of the Blessed. Gains a life, grows the dork. Well, we draw a land, which is nice, so land on green. Oh, this is so slow, though. Borrowed time. Oh, there's so many things we have to answer. So I think we got to get rid of the Thalia. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent. Cleric class. And levels up. Goes attacking, no blocks. So we're down to 7. I'll play a Cammy. Ruinous Sustenance the Cammy. Grow the Cammy. Pass the turn. Opponent, land. 1 card in hand, what is it? I mean, if the Cammy lives, it can potentially stabilize us. That's the hope. Goes attacking. You know what, I think we just take it to 4. Ooh, Shajari Shelter's interesting. So we could just kill the Voice of the Blessed. Let's commune. Take the land. Play the land. Play Makoko's Reign of Truth. Grow the Cammy. Pump the Cammy. Hit you, gain 8. Who's a life gain deck now? Opponent takes it. Okay. That's big. Back up to 12. Opponent untaps. We might be stabilizing. Opponent plays a land. Oh my God, Amiria's Call. That is an issue. Okay. Gain some life, makes their stuff indestructible. Yeah, that is a really good one for our opponent. Perhaps so good that I'm not sure that we can get back into this. All right, Voice of the Blessed. Attacks with everything. Oh, we're taking 10. Oh, I don't know if we can get back in this or not. All right. Pump the Cammy. So we have to borrow time to get rid of the Voice of the Blessed. And then we Weaver of Harmony. Attack and gain 10. All right, well, let's see what our opponent draws. We're not dead yet. Opponent untaps. Opponent dead next turn if we live. Like, if our opponent can't do anything, we can Reign of Truth Cammy. I want to just take this. Is there some pump spell that kills us that I'm not thinking about? You know what? Let's take 10. All right, down to 2. Opponent pass. Oh, I think we got it. So we get to flip Reign of Truth. We play another Reign of Truth. Grow the Cammy. We copy the trigger. Grow the Cammy. Attack for 21 trampling damage. We're gonna get cut. The commander damage kill here. Oh, wow. All right, our opponent got off to a fast start, but eventually that was a 21 power trampling lifelinker. That was good. That was good. That was very, very good. All right, so our opponent, mono white or green white life. What do we want in this matchup? So probably Circle of Confinements, and maybe the Snakeskin Veil if we can find room. Valorous Stance seems less exciting. What do we cut? That's the real question. So if we want to bring in those 5 cards, maybe we can go down like 1 Commune with the Spirits, 1 Rune of Might, 1 Borrowed Time, 1 Weaver, 1 Naturalist, just trim. Maybe we don't need the 4th. You know what, let's keep the Weaver. And let's just go 3. Yeah, stick with 3 Snakeskin Veils. I mean, we got Shadiri Shelter too, so we have MDFC protection. So we still have 7 protection spells. All right, let's do that again, because that was sweet. That was super sweet. All right, sure. We'll keep this, it's fine. Opponent, Lunar Veteran. Well, land and Commune. Yeah, I guess just Borrowed Time. More removal seems good in this matchup, although it does get got by Skyclave, which is annoying. Would have been nice to hit a Weaver there. Weaver would have been the best. Opponent tap land hits us. Well, play a land and, yeah, I mean, I guess we just Naturalist, go. Naturalist is actually pretty legit. Ramping and lifelink is a nice combo. Opponent gets and hits us. Migoko's Reign of Truth. We'll play a land, and let's just... I'm tempted to just kill the Skyclave. I guess we can wait. Let's just Spirited Companion. Draw a card. All right, more... So we got lots of removal, which I guess is good. So especially, like, killing the Skyclave is going to get us a 2-2, which is something. Opponent hits us down to 16. Untap land, Lunarch Veteran, gains a bunch of life, Righteous Valkyrie. Well, that's gonna have to go. Another Shelter. Well, in that case, I think we just Borrow Time, the Righteous Valkyrie. Play one of the Shelters, because we got an extra one. Pass the turn. Could use a threat. We need a real threat. Opponent, Righteous Valkyrie, gains some life. Goes attacking, no blocks. Ooh, even more lands. Ouch. Play the land. Borrowed Time. Get rid of the Valkyrie. All right, opponent has Snakeskin Veil. Well, Reign of Truth. Pump the Spirited Companion. Go attacking. Opponent gonna block. Are we dead? So we got another removal spell for Valkyrie number 40 million, but is it enough? Innkeeper to gain some life. I mean, is this one attack lethal? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we're taking so much. Yeah, I think this is just going to be enough to kill us. That gets our opponent big enough to pump the dorks. Lets him go attacking. Weaver of Harmony. This isn't the time for it. Spirited Companion. Yeah, we're just dead. Like, we can kill the Valkyrie, but we're still just dead. All right. Well, that was a little awkward. We didn't draw any of our good payoffs, which is a little awkward. And our opponent drew, woo, a lot of Valkyries. All the Valkyries in the West. Well, we're on the play for game number 3, which should be good. Well, just kidding. This hand would be sweet if we could cast our spells. All right, this will keep. I don't especially like this hand, but we'll see. I mean, the problem with this hand is it seems like it is really soft to infinite Skyclaves. I'll play the Cami. We do have payoffs, though, which is something. Opponent planes. Portable Hole. All right, so Skyclave number 1, sort of. I'll play the land. Yeah, let's Weaver of Harmony. Pass the turn. Opponent. Prosperous Innkeeper. And Portable Hole number 20. Well, play a Naturalist. And I guess a Runamite for pretty minimal value. All right, draw a card. Yeah, okay, that's sort of a payoff. Opponent, are you done exiling our stuff yet? Plays a land. Voice of the Blessed. Gains a life, grows the Dork. Thalia. A Generous Visitor. Circle of Confinement. Grow the Naturalist. Get rid of the Voice of the Blessed. Smack you for 4. All right. I mean, that's good. Opponent, only 3 cards in hand. Trellisara. Gains a life, scries. To the bottom. No blocks. Oh, I wish we had that Weaver. The Weaver would have been so good. Opponent plays a tap land. Well, borrow time. Grow the Naturalist. Get rid of Trellisara. All right, last card is Snakeskin Veil, which means if our opponent keeps drawing creatures, they're probably in good shape. Well, we go to 27 past the turn. Opponent untaps. Voice of the Blessed off the top. What a draw. Not only a creature, but the best creature in our opponent's deck. Scries to the bottom, goes attacking with both. Oh boy. Well, that's brutal. Opponent thinking about attacking. Gets in with Thalia. Well, no blocks. Well, play the land, go to combat, attack. All right, well. Protection from white. Kill the Trellisara. No! Oh! Well, we might have stacked that in the wrong order. Definitely want to kill the Trellisara. I'll play Weaver of Harmony. Grow the Naturalist. Naturalist. Grow the Naturalist. Go attacking. Oh, down to 7. Come on, hold. No Skyclave. No Skyclave. No Lunar Veteran. Grows it. It scries. Oh, we got the Weaver now, so we got some good draws. Opponent. I wish we had killed the Trellisara. Snakeskin Veil. Interesting. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Blocks. 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 This is lethal, right? Pump. Oh my. What? It's not lethal? Oh no! Oh, first strike. Oh. Wow. Yeah, that was a punt. That was a punt. Opponent gains a bunch of life. Scrying to the top, pretty clearly something good. Plays a land. Well, that was a decent draw. I think our deck might have bailed us out. Grow the Naturalist, get rid of the Trellisara. Oh, thank goodness. Opponent goes to 5. Is this still not lethal? Go attacking. Opponent blocks with everything. Loses their board. And still dies. Goodness. Oh, I'm gonna get so yelled at. I'm gonna get so yelled at. Oh no. Well, I mean, that was a win, and it does show the power of our brew. Good enough to overcome our own mistakes. But yeah, that was definitely a mistake. I was thinking we just had lethal, but I wasn't taking into consideration Thalia's first strike. Well, it was obviously going to kill something, but what I wasn't taking into consideration is that it was killing an enchantment, which then shrunk our Naturalist. But thankfully, the Magic Gods rewarded us with a removal spell off the top of the deck to finish it out. So, oh my god, that was close. Well, sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some Green White Enchantress in our new standard format, and our only payoff is Generous Visitor, which is not the most exciting payoff, but we can dig with Commune with Spirits, which helps. Well, Commune with Spirits. Take Weaver of Harmony. Sejiri Shelter, hit you for 1. Wouldn't mind an untap land. I would love to. Wow. Okay. Well, Sejiri Shelter. Weaver of Heart. Now, well, since our opponent missed their land drop, we're just gonna run out our Magic the Gathering cards and attack them. Opponent down to 17. About it. Wow. Still missing land drops. Well, Spirited Companion. Grow the Visitor. Copy the trigger. Draw 2. Oh, this is where Weaver feels so good. Land on green, generous visitor. I mean, I think this one's probably over. I'm not sure with our opponent being stuck on it. The 1 land 1 keep is failing our opponent. Yeah, opponent gives it up. Well, I mean, our opponent double mulliganed, kept a hand. I mean, at 5, you just gotta keep. You gotta keep whatever you got, really. You can't go to 4, so worked out for us though. We're gonna bring in we're gonna assume, since we saw a green-white dual land, that our opponent is some sort of aggro deck. Humans, it could be an enchantment deck. I guess we're a green-white enchantment deck, so that seems possible. But we're going to assume that our opponent's somewhere in that area. So we're going to bring in the Circle of Confinements, and then I think just do a smidge of trimming. Get in a bit more removal, run it like that. I kind of feel bad about that one. kind of a freebie, but we got Cammy. Cammy at Transience is our scariest payoff. Well, tap land, go. We don't have any way to protect it at the moment. Oh, all right, so opponent is also some sort of enchantment deck. I'll play the land. We will play a Cammy. Opponent. Tap land. Well, the upside of our budget mana base is we don't have tapped Lair of the Hydras. Got him. All right, so opponent has a rune. The other upside of this is all of our removal exiles, which is kind of sweet. I mean, I assume our opponent's does too, so it evens out. But play the land, generous visitor, and Circle of Confinement. You know what? We're going to grow the generous visitor. I'm not convinced that our stuff is going to survive here. Yeah, exiling the Cammy is pretty big because it means our opponent doesn't just get it back. If it was a removal spell, enchantment to the graveyard, etc., returning to hand. All right, Spirited Companion, the good boy. I think this is the best dog ever printed. Opponent's still having land troubles. So commune with spirits, go digging. I don't know why other people aren't. Oh my God. Okay. Land, rune on Cammy, grow the dorks. Oh, this is almost over already. With this deck, if your opponent stumbles a little bit, it is so good at punishing them. Attack you. Like, it just puts on so much damage. And now we have the Snakeskin Veil, so I think we probably just win next turn. Ooh, all right, so opponent hits a land, has a Cammy. Reign of Truth. All right. So opponent's deck is kind of similar to ours. We're just better at drawing lands, which is an important skill in Magic sometimes. Opponent passes. More Snakeskin Veil. So play the land. One. All right, can we win here? Weaver of Harmony. Grow the Cammy. Grow the Cammy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will go to 11. I think we do just win, don't we? Reign of Truth. Grow the dorks. Grow the dorks. Pump the Cammy. Yeah, that looks pretty lethal to me. Boy, this deck can kill people. So we hit for 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, that looks fine. Busted! All right. Well, it's always sweet when you play a budget deck and you play a deck that's very similar, but they also get all the rare cards that you can afford. Always nice to win those because those are the matchups where you feel most disadvantaged. But wow, I mean, if you dodge the removal, enchantments are frightening. They're frightening. They get big so fast. All right, sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some green-white enchantments, some Panharmonicon enchantments, sort of. Weave-a-monicon, Enchantmonicon. Weaver of Harmony, Panharmonicon, enchantment shenanigans. Opponent, green A. Well, I mean, I guess we just run out Cammy. Kind of all in on this Cammy at the moment just because we don't really have another threat. Oh, black, that's not what we wanted to see. Opponent passes. I think we got to play the Shelter and hit you with the Cammy. We really got to protect the Cammy at all costs. Go attacking. Opponent down to 18. Next turn, we can play a Reign of Truth and leave up Sejiri Shelter. Opponent definitely has removal. They're just thinking about whether they actually want to kill it. Decides no for now. Opponent's playing Sultai. It's gonna be interesting. Can Enchantment Panharmonicon keep up with a control deck? Well, I assume this is a control deck. Opponent passes. I'll play a forest, play Naturalist, grow the Cami. Since we drew the Naturalist, I think we wait a turn before we Reign of Truth, go to combat, attack ya. Opponent is really, you can see him hovering on our creatures. They gotta have a handful of removal. Infernal Grasp. Do we let this go? You know what, I think we actually do. After this big talk about protecting it, now we have an enchantment that is probably gonna end up in the graveyard eventually, and it's only a 3/3, so it's likely to come back. Well, that's a smidge awkward. Sarah Chackermat gonna kill the Naturalist. We do get back the Cami. Well, play Cami. Yeah, I guess we Weaver of Harmony. At this point, now that we've seen colorless removal, leaving up Sejiri Shelter aggressively seems a little worse. Opponent kind of got us last turn. We didn't prepare for the Search Hacker back. Is this Sultai Vehicles? What is our opponent doing? Plays Beseju. Oh my god, me hook mess. Woo! Okay. We'll get back the Cami. I mean, part of the power of the Cami is it does keep coming back, which is something. The bad news is our opponent's removal is very good at getting around our protection. Colorless, Miuk Mess. Oh my god, it's a red. Okay. That's a problem. That's a problem. Makes a big tree folk. Oh, and that can crew. Oh, this is getting worse by the second. Well, Cami number 2. Borrowed time. Grow the Camis. And I guess we just gotta get rid of the Wren, but this is looking bad. Bad. We will pass the turn. Oh, yeah, I think these are probably the hardest matchups with just an overload of removal and sweepers and stuff that gets around Snakeskin Veil and Sejiri Shelter. That is what we don't want to see with this deck about it. Looking at their big 5/5. The only downside of Weaver of Harmony, Mind Link back. The downside of Weaver of Harmony is it does die. It does die quite a bit, which is tough. I mean, we have the same problem with literal Panharmonicon, I guess. Well, Spirited Companion triggered, draw some cards. I guess our plan at the moment is try to grow our Camis big enough that they survive a Meat Hook Massacre. Now Makoko's Reign of Truth, pump a Cami. Go to combat, hit ya. Wow, they're gonna block with the Mike Mac. Interesting. Oh, or not. Oh, I think they were thinking it was gonna get pumped, but it doesn't work that way. It sets its power and toughness to 3/4, so it gets around the tree folk. That would be, wow. That'd be a sweet synergy if it worked. Like if this actually got pumped for all your lands, that would be ridiculous. Well, I mean, we're fighting and clawing. Opponent legend rules themselves. I've done this. This is gonna happen a lot, I think. But yeah, this is something we're gonna see a lot of the next week or two, I think, as people get used to these legendary lands. Because Wizards, they stop printing legendary lands. I think in part because of this. I do it myself sometimes. It's very easy to legend rule yourself, Azika's Chariot. Okay, make some dorks. Mindlink Mech Crude. Okay, this isn't gonna do what you want. You get a 4/3. Opponent goes attacking. Do we win here? I think we might. With another Makoko's Reign of Truth in hand, I think we can just pump our way. Can we pump our way to lethal? 1, 2, 3. Oh, not quite. 4. I think we need to draw an enchantment. I feel like our opponent is learning a lot about their deck. And they're learning that the synergies do not work exactly how they were hoping. I think they thought they could crew with Ren. They crew with the Ren token to make their thing huge. And then they thought they could crew with the Zika's Chariot. But Mindlink Mech says non-legendary creatures. So that also doesn't work. So I think our opponent kind of just stumbled and bumbled their way through learning that deck there. All right, we're going to bring in a little bit more removal that can hit vehicles, apparently. Wow, I am surprised we won that. This feels like a super scary matchup. Miuk Massacre. I mean, I guess we can try to outpace it. I guess that's probably our best bet, is just to grow our stuff big enough that we don't care about it, but it doesn't seem that easy. You know what? Let's not choose your weapon. That's probably too cute. All right, on to game number 2. I mean, we're up a game. We only gotta get lucky once against the Meat Hook Massacre, the meatballs. All right, opponent's on the play. The vehicle decks are sweet. Vehicles are so good from Gamagawa. Yeah, we cannot keep that. All right, this we can keep. We'll put the removal spell to the bottom and, well, all right, we'll see what happens. Land and commune. Yeah, I guess just Spirited Companion. Get the redraws. Force for our opponent. Prosperous Innkeeper. Well, land on white. Yeah, let's Naturalist. Get our ramp going. Well, this does mean our opponent could potentially play, like, Azika's Chariot this turn. Who would have thought that the Prosperous Innkeeper would be as good as it is? Opponent Forest. And, all right, well, there's Azika's Chariot. That is a thing we were concerned about. Opponent gains a bunch of life, almost attack. Now, play Companion, see if we hit a land. If we hit a land, great. If we don't hit a land, then we can commune to try to find one. And then hopefully get down our Enchantments. We do have some good things to trigger if we can do it. Spirited Companion finds us. Okay. Machiko's Reign of Truth. Commune with spirits. Oh, no. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, now. All right, so we just did not have many lands in the top part of our deck then. Yikes. Yeah, so now we're in really huge trouble. Now there's an unchecked Azika's Chariot, and we do not have the lands to really do anything. I mean, I think you just fire up Azika's Chariot and attack. At this point, okay, Lyra the Hydra. Cruises Azika's Chariot, goes attacking, gains life, makes a cat, no blocks, down to 14. Still not a land. Well, Spirited Companion, draw a card. Oh god, okay. Well, it is a tapped land. Weaver of Harmony. I guess we go attacking to gain back a little bit of life? Well, we hit our land. We have our Panharmonicon down. I assume our opponent's got some removal going on, though. We would almost be okay with a Meat Hook Massacre at the moment. Meat Hook Massacre cleaning up our opponent's cats and Innkeeper would actually possibly be a benefit. Opponent plays Ottawa. Ren. Okay, well, they didn't kill our stuff. I mean, they make a ridiculously huge tree folk that is going to get copied. So this is still incredibly bad for us. Azika's Chariot. Opponent gonna go on the big attack. Yeah, that's another 5/5. All right, so we're gonna need a true miracle. A true miracle. Snakeskin Veil doesn't do much. So we can Reign of Truth and copy it, but that's still nowhere near lethal. I think we have to Rune of Might into an untapped green source, and then hopefully Machiko's Reign of Truth. Yeah, we need a ton to go right at this point. Once your opponent starts copying tree folks with Azika's Chariots, oh, budget. We have one Blossoming Sands. We have one Blossom. We have one Deathland. One. To keep our budget at 15 rares and mythics, had to go to Overgrown Farmland, and that was the worst time for the Deathland. All right, run it back. We're on the play this time, which is good. Like, if we get going, maybe we can just snowball them before they get set up. This matchup does definitely really scare me, though. All right, well, we'll keep this. Weaver of Harmony, hope it lives, maybe double Spirited Companion if we draw a land. The borrow times aren't bad. The borrow times can get rid of vehicles, which are good. Or Wren's tokens. All right, well, land on white. Go. Tap land for our opponents. Ooh, well, land on green, and you know what? I think we Naturalist. Play the Naturalist, go. Can we dodge the meatballs? Opponent, tap land. Well, Spirited Companion, draw a card. Not a land. Weaver of Harmony. Hit ya for 3. Come on, lands. Opponent does need 2 black sources for Meat Hook Massacre. And we are off to a relatively fast start. All right, more blue mana. So no Meat Hook Massacre yet. Opponent passes. We draw a tap land. Well, in that case, tricky. So we can double draw with Spirited Companion, or we can just double pump with Machiko's Reign of Truth. So we'd get +8/+8. So 11, 12, 13. Opponent could have counters or other disruption. We don't have trample at the moment. I mean, we're doubling something. The question is what? All right, let's go Reign of Truth. Do you have a counter? No. All right, so target Spirited Companion. Weaver, copy it. Target Naturalist. Split it up in case they do have like a Fading Hope or something. Pump. Spread the love. All right, opponent kills the Naturalist, but this gets us a land, which is actually huge. Well, not as huge without the Naturalist, but all right. Blossoming Sands, gain a life. At least we got it out of the way. Hit you for 5, opponent down to 12. Opponent passes. Well, pump the Companion. Generous Visitor. Ruinous Sustenance the Visitor. Grow the Spirited Companion. Panharmonicon the trigger. Draw 2. Oh, it's so good once it gets going. Hit ya. Down to 6. Sagiri Shelter tap. Are we gonna win this matchup? Are we actually taking down this mid-rangey control deck? Panharmonicon? Is that happening? Opponent, LN Liberator, that could kill something. Well, it's a little too late. Sure. Panharmonicon went off. So good. Oh man, it's so sweet when it works. How about it? Gonna blow up the Weaver of Harmony. Sure. Well, we get to flip. Naturalist. Grow the Visitor. Spirited Companion. Grow the Visitor. Draw a card. An opponent. Dun. And wow. We're just kind of ranking up. The deck is actually like kind of crushing it. Panharmonicon, it's back and maybe better than ever in Standard. Weaver of Harmony. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about green-white Weaver of Harmony enchantments in Standard? And the deck kind of killed it. We went 5-0, although it was really 5-1. There was another matchup against a green-white deck, a repeat matchup that I kind of lost, although I actually kind of scooped early because I had a Bear's friend Ruckus over and they were being really wild and kind of like eating cords and stuff. So I had to go in the middle of the match. I think we probably would have lost it, so I'll count it as a loss. So let's go 5-1 overall. But really, for how cheap this deck is, it felt legitimately good. Like, we have good card draw. Weaver of Harmonies, if it stays on the battlefield, definitely is worthy of the Panharmonicon comparison. Like, it generates so much value. It works so well with Machiko's Reign of Truth. And then we have great payoffs, like Cameo of Transience coming back from the graveyard again and again and getting huge. Generous Visitor. We had some like free win games where you just play 2 Generous Visitors and then just kind of dump your hand. And all of a sudden our stuff's like 5/5s on turn 3 or whatever, and we just smash people really quickly. And then, thanks to all of our protection spells, Sagiri Shelter and Snakeskin Veil, we did a pretty good job of fighting through removal as well. So all around, the deck just felt really solid. I think this is actually like a really good budget deck, and it's really fun to play. If you like Enchantress style decks, if you've ever played like Modern Enchantress or Historic Enchantress, whatever, I think this is about as close as we can get in our current Standard format. It's definitely got its own twist. Like in Modern Enchantress, it's not really about growing a big, Generous Visitor or whatever. So there's a little bit of a difference there, but this idea is pretty much the same. Like play enchantments, draw a ton of cards, do crazy things, and eventually just kill your opponent in a couple of big attacks. I will say, as far as upgrading this deck, I think the biggest thing you can do is probably improve the sideboard. The sideboard is definitely the weakest part of the deck. It's not bad against creature decks, but if we run into control style decks, we really don't have a ton to bring in. We can bring in like Valorous Stance and the Snakeskin Veil just to have a little more targeted removal protection, but we don't have a lot that specifically hoses control decks. So maybe some like Redeems could be good. I don't think we can play Thalia because it taxes us too much, but something like that, maybe Guardian of Faith to be able to phase out all of our stuffs and get around a Wrath would be really helpful. Also, phasing out, we get to keep all of our counters on our Cami or on our Generous Visitor, which is actually a really big upside. We also keep all of our auras, which is really cute. So that could be a really good addition for the control matchups. I imagine like our opponent trying to Desperation Wrath to sweep our board, and we're able to just flash that in and phase stuff out and untap and kill our opponent. So that would be a pretty big upgrade. The only other thing I would consider for the main deck would probably be the rare White Saga, which I think would be pretty synergistic in the deck. Being able to like grab a plains, reanimate something. We have so much stuff mana value 2 or less. Like that's getting back our Weaver of Harmony. That's getting back our Spirited Companion, our Cami, our Naturalist, Michiko's Reign of Truth. Like pretty much everything in our deck costs 2 or less mana. So it's able to reanimate essentially anything. And then it flips around into a pretty reasonable creature too. So that's a one card I would really be interested in adding to the main deck. I also considered trying to build a Light Paws version of this deck because Light Paws is also really sweet, but I think it would be a different deck. With all of the like Generous Visitors and Camis and Naturalists, it was hard to find the right mixture of auras to really make Light Paws work. Plus, Light Paws is another rare, so it taxes the budget. But I do think some non-budget version of this that focuses more on auras and like a wider array of auras instead of just the few runes, which are really, really good with our beatdown plan. But if you want to go Light Paws, I think you can make a non-budget version of it, but it would look quite a bit different. So anyway, that is green, white, Enchantmonic, a Weaver of Harmony enchantments for Kamigawa Standard. That's been our budget magic for this week. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.